This episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Top Down Construction, a local construction company located in Hurricane, West Virginia. A veteran-owned and operated construction company ready to tackle any project. With over 25 years of experience in the industry, they offer a wealth of knowledge from design to completion. Contact them today at 304-415-2203 and let them make your dream a reality. You can also check them out on their Facebook page or call them today at 304-415-2203. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls. Man, do we have a lot to talk about this evening. We had a packed week last week.
Yes, we have.
And it was amazing. But first of all, let's talk about turkey hunting.
Let's talk about turkey.
So we got on one this morning, finally. Man, I tell you, what a hunt that was.
Oh, it was. It was picture perfect morning.
Yes, it was.
It was cold.
It was like 31 degrees when I left the house, and I was like, oh, my gosh, this is going to be a perfect morning. You know, I was at work yesterday, and you hunted yesterday.
I did. I killed one.
And
we'll talk
like,
about that.
Man, that was a perfect day to hunt. You know, you was out, you heard plenty of birds, the temperature was right.
Yep.
You know, we got this cold front that's coming through. We're at like 31 degrees this morning, and it got up to maybe
How do we know? We wasn't in there long enough.
Yeah, maybe 57. I don't know.
Not by the time we was done.
No, by the time we was done, it was still only about 36.
Yeah, there was still heavy frost.
There was heavy frost on the ground. So it was a perfect morning. But lead us into how the hunt went.
All right, so, yeah, like you said, Mike, you got to the house there at about, what was it, about 5:20, 5:15, 5:20.
About 5:15, yeah.
Yeah. We took off, got up on the hill. Excuse me. I got us out. I told you where I wanted to go, which I knew there was going to be some birds there. Yep. So we took off out that ridge out towards the pond. We got out there, and we're walking in real quiet, real slow, and we're getting about where I want. I kind of stopped, and I was like, all right, look, this is we're going to go about another 10 to 30 yards at the most.
Yeah. And
we're going to kind of get set up and just sit for the day, sit till daylight breaks and see what we can see and hear whatever comes about. About the time we sat there and stopped, we had two hens fly off the roost.
Flew right off the roost. And I was like,
right above us.
Oh, man.
I mean, it was still dark. It was only 5:35 at the most at that time.
Probably.
Yeah.
And at the time, we didn't know whether it was hens or whether it was gobblers.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't see them.
So
it was too dark.
We were just hoping that it was hens. And then we find out after the hunt that it had to have been hens. Because, you know, we get up there and we're sat down and, man, this gobbler is going crazy. You know, he just cracked off one gobble.
Yeah, and then, I knew right where he was.
And then we waited for a little bit. And we waited, and there he cracked off another one. It was about every 5 minutes.
I don't even know if it was that long.
Maybe 3.
About every 3.
Yeah.
Which created him to gobbling.
Yeah.
Created 2 more in the holler, which was pretty deep down in the woods.
So we had about 4 or 5 gobbling at the same time.
Yeah.
So as he flies down, it starts to get more and more intense.
Yeah.
I mean, so the gobbling starts to get more and more intense. And
so he flew down, and I went ahead and did a fly down cackle. Yep. And, you know, the old time, take your hat off and flop it on the ground. It sounds perfect.
Yep, it sure does. So once that happened, we knew that he was really close. I still couldn't see him, but about, I'd say, no more than 5 minutes after that.
Oh, yeah.
I started to see a black blob.
Yep. Oh, yeah,
I can't see very far at distances anymore, and I didn't have my glasses, so here I am looking for him, and I'm seeing this, and I'm like, he's there. I know he's there, so I'm just waiting on him to come closer. So you hit your what was that? The zebra? It was the jungle turk.
Yeah, it was. That's right. The jungle turk pot call.
Yeah, so
just real light clucks,
and that's a slate call. So he hit that couple clucks, and Then I did a couple of really small yelps, and then he gobbled like 2 or 3 times.
And then he never stopped.
I mean, it's like 9 gobbles all at once. And he was just going crazy.
Yeah.
So there's this big log sitting out there across the road.
And that's where I was worried, because I've had them lock up twice this season on that log.
So this is an old logging road up on a ridge, and there's this, dead tree across this road, 4-wheeler path or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, as soon as he gets over that, if he gets up on it, then it's going to be on. So, he stays out there and he's strutting, and me and Dan both is just, really lightly yelping, real soft, nothing real loud. And he's standing out there trying to figure out whether he wants to come over top of this log.
Yeah.
So he finally, I could see him closing the distance on the log, and I'm like, he's getting ready to come over. He hops up on top of
that log, I knew it was on.
And he comes to the other side, and he never gobbled again after that.
Well, he couldn't. He was in a dead run.
He was a dead run beeline straight to us. If I hadn't have shot, he committed at 80 yards.
He did. Yeah.
If I hadn't have shot him at 30, I would have had him in my lap.
Oh, yeah. He'd have run top of.
I could have slit his neck.
Yeah. And you'd probably be the first turkey hunter to ever kill one with a knife.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Man, we probably maybe should have done that.
Right?
That would have been crazy.
I mean, even if you didn't complete it, at least you had the story to tell.
At least you had.
I almost killed a turkey with my knife.
At least you tried.
Right.
I mean, you had this gobbler coming straight at you, and you tried to take him down with your knife.
That would have been awesome.
You at least gave him a scar.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm using my son's 410, and we using the TSS shell, and man, did it put a smackdown on it.
It sure did.
We've been wanting to try out Viper ammunition. We haven't been able to get in contact with them to get some before the season. They've been slam busy. So
absolutely.
we plan on definitely using some of their ammo. And but this was a federal TSS that we picked up while we were up in Greenbrier County.
Yeah.
And the TSS 410s is not easy to find.
No, they're not.
So Caleb had told us that there's a place up there that sells them. So I was like, man, you need to pick me up, just a pack of those. I mean, you only get 5.
Right.
So I think it's like 5 for $50.
Yeah, it's like $10 a shell.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not
what you're
cheap.
looking at. But I'm telling you.
They will put the hammer down.
One shot, one kill, baby.
One shot, one kill. It puts the hammer down on a bird.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, if I hadn't had that 410, I wouldn't have been able to hold that 20 gauge up there.
Not for as long as it took.
I held that 20 gauge up there every bit of 15 minutes.
410.
410. But I wouldn't have been able to hold the 20 gauge.
I didn't even have my gun up. I had faith in him. I told him, I said, I'm going to get you a bird. I ain't even shooting.
Yeah.
Now, however, if we'd have had 2 of them coming in, there'd have been 2 guns pointing.
Yeah, definitely.
I just set my gun on my lap, and I had the pot called down to my side behind my leg where you couldn't see my arm motions.
Mm-hmm.
And I just let it play on the ground so it was real muffled. I wanted it real muffled, so he thought it was further than where it was.
Yeah, that's a good idea, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done that up against my chest and stuff, or my stomach. I'll do that when I purr. But, yeah, it was an amazing morning, so I'm glad.
Was.
So let's hear a little.
What time was that at? What time was we finished?
We were done before 7 o'clock.
We was done at 6:45 taking pictures.
Oh, yeah. I got the picture at 6:45.
6:45, yeah.
I got the picture.
That was the first picture taken.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
I was like, geez.
I was so excited.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great morning.
And then we tried to, get another one to strike up when we walked on out the ridge, and we thought maybe, Dan could get another one.
Yeah, I'd tag that if I could.
They were hot.
Out.
I mean, it was a hot morning. So tell us a little bit about your hunt.
All right, so my hunt kind of started in the same way. I went out to the same place, basically, me and you went to this morning, but I went further out because Monday morning opening season, me and my father-in-law hunted that same area. So that tells you right there, there's turkeys in them woods right there.
Yeah, definitely.
But he locked up on that log to a point. We got him to come in Monday morning, but he misjudged his distance, so he didn't feel confident with the shot, which, hey, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'd rather you not shoot something than shoot something wounded or what have you, you know.
Definitely, yeah.
So that was great. And then which he had a big old kind of a bush in front of him. So that threw him off a lot. Once he got up and looked back where that turkey actually was, he was like, shoot, that was only about 45 yards. I should have shot it. But, hey, it is what it is, you know.
Yep.
It happens. These birds are something. But so anyhow, so I sat up there. I had one gobble over on another ridge over. I'm like, shoot, I knew he was there from the night before where I roosted him, but I was hoping that he wasn't the only one in the area. He gobbled a couple times before daybreak, and I was starting to worry. I'm like, man, maybe I did screw up. Maybe I should have went over there.
Yeah.
And as I was thinking that, I had another one light off right out the ridge from me, about the same place ours this morning fired off. So I'm like, okay, here we go. Then I had another one and another one and another one. I had 8 gobblers lighting off yesterday morning.
Jeez.
It was crazy. And what was awesome, they were so hot. When one got done, the other started. By the time they was all done, it was already back around. They was starting again. It just kept going on and on and on. It was a continuous circle of gobbling.
Jeez.
So he hit the ground. Same thing. He come up, same path Michaels did this morning, and stopped at that log and just strutted. It's a little high point, little peak on the mountain. So it's a big open area through that logging road. So he stops on that to strut. He wants them hens to come to him because that's what nature. You know, that's nature. So obviously,
yep.
And he wouldn't commit like Michaels did. He was leerier, I guess maybe, but he bowed back down after he strutted for about 15 minutes. He starts clucking and walks off. He gets down to the bottom of the hill. And he lights back up. He starts gobbling again, but he's already down in the bottom of the holler. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna back out of here, try to bring him back up the hill further away, like that hen left. So that didn't work. He kind of shut up. So about that time, one gobbled over by the cell tower. I'm like, you know what? I'm going for him. He's still hot. He's been gobbling the whole time. We'll try him out. So I pick up all my crap and start walking. Get out there and walk. Called a couple times throughout, you know, trying to get that other one. Hopefully, I didn't have to make that full walk, you know. Yeah. But ended up walking it. And by the time I get over there, he wouldn't answer the zebra wood call. Or my jungle Turk call. So I pulled out the old cherry pot call. He fired right off on that.
Wow.
He liked that sound on that side. I don't know why. You know, they're finicky. They like different sounds at different times. Different calls sound better to them.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I got to find where I'm at this point, just solid brush. I'm like, I couldn't get a shot here if I needed to. So I keep walking out the ridge, and I found this clearing. I mean, just it opens up into like God's front door. It's like, this is where I needed to be the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, these are turkey woods is what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, people. Turkey woods are turkey woods. When you sit in them, you know it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Just clean, clear, got just enough coverage. Mm-hmm. But so I sit down and I call nothing. Call again, nothing. I'm like, huh. So I take out the old hot wings. It's never failed me. Throw the hot wings in the mouth. Don't even get a full putt and a cluck out, and they're gobbling. And, of course, they're back over where I just walked from. They're on the other side of the
Yeah, you were definitely chasing that day.
Yeah, they're on the other side of the ridge. I'm like, oh, my gosh. I just came from there. I'm not going back.
The good thing is, though, you're not in Greenbrier County doing that.
That's true. What them hills Tony took me on.
Straight up and down,
I mean to tell you. Old Tony took us on some good hikes there.
We'll get into that here in a minute.
Sure.
Keep going.
But so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make these calls work. I'm gonna test the nature's voice calls out, and I did. I got them down to the bottom of the holler. I could hear the change in their tone. Mm-hmm. I'm like, they're coming. So I kept playing them, and they got hotter and hotter the harder I hit them.
So while you're doing this, how often are you calling? Like, are you calling every couple minutes?
No, it was quick. It was quicker than that. Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to make them know that it was a hot hen.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to get aggressive like that.
I was pretty aggressive. So, it was, I probably called 6-7 times in a minute.
Yeah.
Just different intervals, multiple times at a time.
Right.
But
And there's different instances where you don't want to do that.
yeah. And then when I knew they was at the bottom coming up, I shut up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just seeing where I was going to let them play out. And it probably took another 2 minutes before I called again.
Well, that gobbler today, he shut up for 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, he did.
And we knew that he was on his way off the roost, working his way towards us.
Yeah.
You don't want to get too anxious,
Especially early.
especially early. Yeah,
Okay.
Well, that's a mistake a lot of people make. I talked to somebody the other day, and he owns some property up in Alum Creek, and he said, I just had a few boys up the other day, and they're trying to hunt birds before they go to school. They go to school at 8:30.
That's hard.
And he's like, they didn't hear a thing, and I'm sitting there thinking they're probably calling hard and aggressive at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. That's too early.
And that's way
Just
too
trying to get
early.
them birds in quick.
They're still on the roost that early, so
Yeah.
you don't want to be calling that heavy.
Okay.
When they're calling and they're talking to each other in them trees, it's light and it's very slow.
Yeah.
It's not loud at all, and it's just a little bit every now and then. It's not a lot until they do that fly down cackle. Now that gets pretty aggressive, and once that happens, that bird's on the ground, and you'll be able to tell if you've got one gobbling back to you which way he's going. You can tell where that gobble's coming from.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Absolutely.
it's all about the ear and listening too.
Okay.
So
You got to have a good keen ear. Go ahead.
yeah, absolutely. So backing up here, as that bird kind of got in the holler and started coming up, I could tell they was on their moves.
Yep.
They was coming up. At about that point, I just shut up. My phone dinged. I looked down. It's Kim from Hunt Chef texted me asking how we was doing, if we had any luck. And I'm like, well, I'm working a bird right now. I'll get back with you.
Nice.
And literally, I put my phone down. I'm like, okay, I wonder where they're at. It's been about 2 minutes. Let me hit a call. And so I hit it, and they was 50, 60 yards behind me, coming in strong and fast. So I set everything up, got the gun fully ready, and waited. And I'm looking off to my left because that's the way they're coming in. And I get one come in. He goes past this real nice clearing. At the time, I wasn't expecting him to be right there. It was a little, I thought, when he went past, which he was a big bird, he had a beard on him now, I'm telling you. But he went past, I'm like, I don't know if that's too far. I gotta kind of glance around and get my bearings and start my measurements back over because I didn't expect it to be right where he was at. I expected a different location. So I got my bearings back, and I seen the second bird coming in behind him. I said, yeah, you walk in the same path, you're done. Mm-hmm. And he walked right behind him, and as soon as his head got into that spot where I wanted him, the flopping began. And, of course, he flops, and he flopped down the bank. And it was a good steep, too.
Yeah.
Tony, thank God Tony had me in shape there from last week.
I did the old head stomp this morning. He wasn't getting over the side of the bank. So, but Dan's bird was a little bit bigger in weight.
Oh yeah,
than
he
mine.
was, but the beards was smaller.
Yeah, your beard was what?
8 and a quarter.
8 1/4. So I had a 10-inch beard on mine, 1-inch spurs. Yours was what, 1 1/4?
Yeah, my spurs were bigger.
Yeah, spurs were bigger.
Yeah.
So, it was.
But he was also about a 22. I didn't have a scale.
I would say 23.
I'd say at least a 22-pound bird. He was big.
Yeah.
His head was bigger than my fist.
So, how many people did y'all feed off the one breast?
Well,
Did y'all fix both of them last night?
we did fix both of them, but
Okay.
we ended up having a ton of leftovers, and we fed.
Y'all had like a little village party and fed
Pretty
everybody on
much,
Rocky
yeah.
Fork. Pretty much.
Pretty much. So we fed me, my 2 children, which, they eat like tanks.
Oh, yeah.
My wife, mother-in-law, father-in-law.
Yep.
And then we ended up giving a bunch back to Rick and Peggy, my wife's aunt and uncle.
Yes.
So they took quite a bit of it. We gave them quite a bit of it. And I still ended up having some leftover, though.
Nice.
But now I will tell you, this evening, we went ahead, cut the legs off.
Yeah.
Pressure cooked them all night last night.
That's what you was telling me.
Deboned everything, got all the tendons out as best we could, threw some mushroom gravy, made some white gravy,
Oh, man.
made some fresh biscuits.
That sounds amazing.
Buddy.
Jeez.
I almost like that better than the breast. I'm telling you.
It was like pot pie, you said?
It was like a pot pie.
Oh, my goodness.
Like a white cream, mushroom gravy, pot pie type thing.
Wow.
Oh, it was something.
Nice. Well, you want to go ahead and hit the salute?
Yeah, we can do that.
Salute.
Hit the salute.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's see.
We love saluting our veterans on
Yes,
here.
we do.
Yes, we do.
Super thankful for
All
you.
right, so we're going to salute Mickey L. Runk from Washington Courthouse, Ohio. He served in the U.S. Army as an E5. He served 3.5 years. He did 2 tours to Germany. He was awarded a Good Conduct Medal and 2 Army Achievement Medals.
Yep.
And an Overseas Ribbon. He was discharged October of 1983. Come on, spit it out.
1983.
Yeah, 1983. He also manages and is a guide at the Cherry Bend Guide Services, where they guide pheasant hunts, quail, and chucker hunts.
Yeah.
They also call him the legend.
They call him the legend.
Yes.
I met this man at the Charleston Hunting and Fishing Show, the West Virginia Hunting and Fishing Show, up here, put on by the West Virginia Trophy Hunters Association, and
Cabela's.
They had Cabela's. They had a booth up there, and his daughter came over and bought some calls from us.
I do remember him now.
Kate Runk.
Yep.
And she's real big into turkey hunting, man. I'm telling you, she is diehard turkey hunting. But I met him up there, and he was a pleasure to meet. And I told him, I said, yeah, we're definitely going to salute you on our podcast. So she supplied us with that information. But, yeah, he's been guiding there at that Cherry Bend Guide Service and Farm for, I think, over 15 years, 20 years. I may be wrong, but it's been a long time. So we appreciate your service there,
Yes, absolutely.
Mickey.
Yes, thank you for your service.
Just like we always say, if it wasn't for you out there, defending our freedom, we couldn't sit here and do what we're doing today. We couldn't have this freedom of speech. And
No, they'd filter this, and you wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think podcasts would be a thing.
yeah,
Honestly,
yep.
we'd be speaking German.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back into it. So we want to recap from our weekend. Well, not weekend, our week, actually. So we got invited to the media days that they had at the Greenbrier Resort, which featured Kate's Mountain Lodge and Kate's Mountain Adventures. This was to promo and just
Explain and
kind of explain and give everybody an idea of what's going to go on and what's going to happen for the West Virginia Wild and Wonderful Hunting, Fishing, Conservation Expo that they got going on there at the Greenbrier.
coming up in September.
Coming up in September the 22nd through the 25th. So they're going to have all kinds of things. We had a Zoom call this evening with one of their outdoor coordinators there, managers of Kate's Mountain Adventures, and kind of got a little more insight on what they're going to do. They're starting to finalize some plans and things like that.
It's going to be big, folks.
It is.
It is. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we were
wait.
talking while we were there, but there was just so much to do.
Oh,
I mean, their thing for this media days is to bring us up there to get promotion out for the event and to actually let us experience those things that goes on at the Greenbrier, so we can kind of promote and tell people what all that place has to offer. So
Didn't get to golf, but I'll tell you what, I wanted to.
Oh my gosh, that golf course!
Wow.
My son went with us, and we were at Sammy Sneed's.
Yep.
Slamming Sammy's.
Slamming Sammy's.
And we were eating at the restaurant.
He made us sit.
He did.
He made us
He
sit
goes over and
at
he's
the windows to
videotaping
watch the
at the window.
greens.
And, there's still people out there playing golf that evening. And he was like, Dad, can we switch our table? And I'm like, yes, son, we can. We will go over there so you can sit there and gaze out at the golf course and just dream about it. Because we'll be back up there to play one day. I'll get him up there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, there's all kinds of events that happened. We turkey hunted on Thursday morning. Dan hunted Friday morning as well.
Yep.
The birds up there just wasn't cooperating.
Well, they was. Just,
they was a little vocal, but not as vocal as here.
where I was at, they was pretty vocal. I mean, we was on birds both days. We couldn't close the hammer on them.
And, Tony mentioned something good that we were talking about today.
Yeah. Yep.
He mentioned that, if turkeys have a range in weather, they're kind of like us. They don't like to get out if it's too cold and, if things are going wrong. But he's saying anywhere from 35 to about 45 or anywhere from 30 to 45.
Yeah.
Is a good temperature range that you're going to have a lot of vocalization with birds, and you're going to be able to talk to them.
And that proved it this morning.
And it proved it this morning.
And yesterday.
Yes. Yep. So tell us a little bit about your hunt that you had with Tony.
Sure. So it was me, Tony, and the Hunt Chef Nation. It was me and Chef and Mike on the filmography.
Yep.
So
Mike.
we hiked our little hind ends up this mountain about a mile back there, and we got set up. We went to the left when we should have went to the right, if that makes sense. But it was great. We got set up on a ridge, and excuse me, we got set up, and daylight hit. We had gobblers all over. We're like, okay. We had 3 of them just lighting up, 3 or 4. We heard 8 in all, but 3 of them was sitting up on top of us. Yeah. So we was like, okay, maybe we will get this double we was talking about. So we set the decoys out and got ready, and, did a couple tree calls and all that. And that bird decided he didn't want to be on top of the ridge. He must have had some hens nearby. They flew down into the bottom of the holler. So that kind of killed the hunt for that day. And we chased and tried and everything, but nothing else doing that first morning up there.
Yeah.
But Friday was a good morning. We kind of went the same area. They went where they should have went Thursday morning. I was on my own, which I told Tony if he didn't care, and he didn't care at all. He said, yeah, by all means, I know you know how to call. I know you know how to hunt. You're golden, which Chef does too, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But, it was just old-time friends. Chef's knew for a while.
Yeah, they've known each other for a long time.
Chef worked at the Greenbrier.
It was good for them to get back together and hunt together,
I don't know if it was good after the fact, which I'll get into that here in a minute. Chef may be mad at him right now. He walked his guts off of him.
Yeah, I heard about that.
But, so anyway, I went to the left, and they went back to the right, and they got set down. And I'm walking out the ridge, and I find a spot, and I'm like, okay, this looks like a good spot for me to set up. Not set up, just sit down, listen, wait till I hear something and gobbling. Well, back where Chef and him was at, they was gobbling again. Same spot. I'm like, okay, they're set up the right spot this time. Maybe they'll connect. So I'm still meandering around trying to hear a bird, and I finally, it was probably 7. I heard the first one. I'm like, okay, I know exactly where he's at. He's kind of where we came up at. So I bolt down the mountain and get ready to try to call him in.
Yeah.
I get down there and I hit the call again. He gobbles one more time. I'm like, okay, I know exactly where he's at. That's the road we come up on, which was a real nice grassy, dozed road, everything.
Yeah.
And so I get down there and wandering towards it, and I see him. And I'm kind of dead in the water right now, So I'm like, oh man, what am I gonna do? Which he got turned around from me, and I backed out and kind of went down lower to get trees between me and him, and where I could actually get a spot to sit. So I got set up, and I started calling to him. He come back out into the field, full strut.
Yep.
Full strut, just back and forth. I could hear him. I was close enough I could hear him spitting and drumming.
Oh, nice. I love that.
I
love it.
When you hear that, it's something.
That's just as good as gobbling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. But I don't know what happened. I kept an eye on him, but he got kind of back again where he was at, where I couldn't see him to begin with, and never seen him again.
Wow.
So Tony had mentioned, he said, hey, go ahead and meet us back at the truck. We're going to go try another spot. We didn't connect on this one. We'll tell you the story when we get there. I'm like, okay. So I'm walking back towards the truck, and I get to the truck. They're not there. Huh. I'm like, shoot, I was further out than they were. Where'd they go? So I just sit there, take my gear off, and sit down and relaxing, waiting on them.
We had some great sandwiches that you could have ate.
Yeah, we did. Absolutely. Yeah, we did.
I mean, the ham and turkey sandwiches.
Yeah, they were.
Oh,
Well, I had the tuna or turkey salad.
It was on
Oh,
rye,
you
too.
had chicken salad.
Chicken salad. Yeah,
That was rye bread, too,
really
wasn't
good.
it?
Yep,
Which
rye
we
bread.
best
had that.
rye bread.
I didn't have that one, but I did have the turkey or tuna salad.
I'm telling you,
Chicken salad.
boys, they take care of you up there.
Yeah, they did.
That place is the most full service. I mean, all
Everything.
about the customer service
yeah.
and all about their guests that anywhere I've ever been.
Yeah, they're good to their guests.
They are. I mean, we had bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits for
Yep.
breakfast that you could choose from. They had all kinds of different cheeses that you could stick in your pack.
Yeah.
They had waters. They had pop. They had cookies.
Well, you know,
They had peanut butter cookies,
oh, yeah,
chocolate
they were
chip
good.
cookies.
Those were good.
We were snacking on those.
I didn't know what to do. You know, when we first got there, they got the bellhops or what have you, whatever, the concierge or
Door
whatever.
guys,
Yeah. They come up, we pulled up, getting ready to go check in, you know, like you normally do at a hotel.
Yeah.
They come up and they were starting unloading our gear.
They wasn't letting you do
Yeah.
nothing.
no, they was like, we got it, sir,
Yeah.
we got
Yeah.
it. You just show
And the
us
most
what you need.
courteous
I
guys
mean, just
ever,
pleasant
man.
people.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
You can definitely tell they love their job and
They
they
do.
love what they do.
And they love each other. It's
Yeah.
like a family.
It
It
is.
is.
And
Yeah.
I was going to say that
Super cool.
The longer we stayed there, you know, through the week of it,
Yeah.
I could see the camaraderie that you guys
Yes.
had.
Yeah.
It was something to witness.
Yeah, and it was throughout the whole place. It wasn't just the guides.
Yeah,
And
oh, absolutely.
obviously,
Yeah.
the guides have a special thing to themselves, but it's throughout the whole resort. And
Right,
the whole,
right.
You know, the whole Kate's Mountain Adventures
Sure.
part of it. So go ahead. I didn't
But
mean to
yeah,
interrupt.
no,
I just
you're
wanted to hit
fine.
on those couple things.
Absolutely. But back to it. So I'm sitting in the truck waiting on them. Like, wonder where they're at. And it was probably 15 minutes later. I'm in the truck and I hear boom. I'm like, oh, Chef just killed one. He got him one. He just shot. I know that was on this property. So now my blood's pumping. I'm pumped. I'm like, oh man, this is great. He's gonna have one coming back.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a nice toast to it. We're gonna drink it dead, smoke us a cigar. It's gonna be awesome. So they get back about another 15, 25 minutes later. They get back and I hear them talking as they're walking down the ridge. And I'm like, so I get back out off the tailgate and all that. And I walk up to meet him. I'm excited. I want to see this bird.
Yeah.
No bird. I said, what happened? He said, man, inches. I said, what happened? So they got on this bird. So first off, we'll back up to the morning. The gobblers come down. He flew down right where they was at. But unfortunately, Chef and Mike, the way they was set up, Mike was on his left filming, and that bird come in high and on the left, which is where I was set up the morning before. They said if I was there that morning, he'd have walked right over top my lap.
See, it's hard to know.
It is.
How to set up.
It is.
Like the way I set up this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right-handed.
Yeah, you was shooting left.
that was a tough shot.
Yeah, and you was shooting right, which
Yeah.
right-handed guys shoot left side better.
yes.
So you really should have been facing. Basically, you should have been facing the mountainside.
Oh yeah, I should have been.
Yeah. And you'd have been fine, but it is what it is.
I just
Luckily,
had-
you didn't have a 12 gauge.
I had to be. Yeah, I had to be where that bird was coming, and he was
Yeah.
coming at an angle.
Yeah.
Well, what I thought that he was going to come, he came right down that path.
Yeah.
So
anyhow, they got that one, and that bird, they didn't spook it. He just meandered off because he couldn't find what he was looking for. So they got up and started chasing. They got all the way out and this is when Tony texted me, said, hey, meet us at the truck. They got all the way out the ridge, pretty much in line on another mountainside, in line with where the truck would have been.
Oh, wow.
So he was like, well, we're just going to come off the hill right here, and we'll meet Dan at the truck.
yeah,
And about that time after he texted me, which he never got a chance to text me back because I lost service, but they heard one back where they came from.
yeah.
And he looked at Chef. He said, Chef, I told you I'd try to get you on a bird. I'm willing if you're game.
Running and gunning time.
Yep. So Chef was like, from what he said, he was like, man, you know what? Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they took off and they went after it. They got him. They got close to him. They was in the middle of a logging road. They laid down because he was coming. So they got laid down. Tony's on the left hand side. Chef's down on the right. So Tony's kind of high on the center point of the road.
He's up higher.
Chef's down in the little tire track, basically.
Yep.
And Tony's over there thinking, like he said, he's coming. He'll be around this point in just a second. Mm-hmm. Which he whispered to Chef. He's like, okay. And, Tony got picked up because he seen the head. He said he seen about the whole head down to the top of the feathers. Yeah. And he's sitting there thinking, shoot.
Chef was so low he couldn't see it.
And Chef, where he was just that much lower than him, he said the only thing he could see was about 1.5 to 2 inches of the top of his head. And he said he started getting flustered. Not Chef, the bird started getting flustered and spooky. And he said, I'm not letting him go without trying it. Yeah. So he pulled the trigger. Yeah. Unfortunately, you can see it in the video. The bird just goes, sails off the mountain.
Oh, man. It happens.
It does. It was still a great morning. Yeah. It was a great experience to hunt up there with one of the guys from the Greenbrier. He was guiding for us. It was awesome.
Nice.
So I had a blast with the hunts.
Yeah, it was definitely good. I wanted to give a little insight on your hunt because we didn't get to talk about it live up there. Yeah. We talked about our hunt, Dave, while we were up there doing the live podcast. So, yeah. Dave, if you want to come in with the verse of the day.
Yes, sir. We got her loaded and ready to go. So this is 2 Corinthians 3:1 and verse 2 as well. Of course, I'll be reading out of the Passion. It says, are we beginning to sound like those who speak highly of themselves? Do you really think letters of recommendation to validate our ministry like others do? Do we really need your letter of endorsement? Of course not. For your very lives are our letters of recommendation, permanently engraved on our hearts, recognized and read by everybody. And, I think it just kind of speaks to living a life as a witness for Christ, how to treat other people, loving folks, being kind to people, not rude or mean or anything like that. Just and how you love your kids. I had a guy. We were in a restaurant with the girls, and I'm just I try to do things, and that they don't always realize I'm doing it, but as far as opening doors for them, just being kind to them, talking nice to them, stuff like that. Well, this elderly couple was sitting the next booth over, and he made a comment before I left about how well I treated the girls, how well I treated my kids. And, there's just it's so many times, man, you'll be walking through a store and you'll just hear people just light off on their kids about something, light off on somebody else, Sure.
And I can't say I haven't.
No, and I can't say I haven't either.
They act up, and sometimes it's at the point, but I understand.
Right. But there's a difference.
Sure.
There's a difference between, I've heard 5-year-olds get cussed out, too.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
In the middle of a store, and it's like you're teaching them, you're not teaching them how to love and how how to be a good parent. You're not being that role model you're supposed to be.
Sure. And that's what it's about. You got to be their guidance.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even other people.
Sure.
Folks know. Like I got off the phone with my wife one time at work, and
Mike yelled at you, didn't he?
No, it was no, not this time.
Okay.
But somebody was like, I love the way you talk to your wife. Like you're actually nice to her. And I'm like, well, yeah, I thought that was kind of the norm. I thought you're supposed to be nice to your wife.
Sure, yeah.
But anyway, but I just think, living as a witness, when you're born again, you're alive. You're brand new on the inside, and you should act differently. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't act like the world. I just think that should hit every area of your life.
Absolutely. No, I agree. So a little bit, you guys didn't hunt Friday.
No, we hunted Thursday morning.
Okay. Why don't, I know you guys got a chance to do a couple different things. Why don't you hit on that?
Oh, yeah.
What else do you guys do? I know.
Well, we visited the shops and stuff. And
girly things, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Now, one of the shops we went into, they have these just awesome, handcrafted stuff. They've got just, all kinds of different stuff in there. There's a I don't know. We called it the fly shop, but they had like some different tackle and fly equipment and different stuff like that, fishing equipment. And then there was another shop beside of it, and it was really cool. It had a lot of had a lot of mounts. It had a couple full deer mounts, and a bear mount was in there.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. And one of the buck mounts was one bedded down. I've never seen a mount like that before.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was cool. Anyway, I got talked into buying a belt made out of bison leather.
Yeah, I remember you showing me that.
This
Stamped
thing,
with
man,
silver bison and emblem. That was cool.
Dude, it is so awesome. I'm so happy about that belt. Okay, I just want to say that. And but anyway, so then we scheduled the bunker tour.
Yeah. I wish I could have made it back to go in that.
Dude, you would have loved it.
I've heard great things about it.
You would have loved it. And
I'll be back.
Our guide through the tour, I cannot remember his name. Was it Gary? That's right, it was Gary.
Very informational.
Oh gosh, he was awesome. And
what about the chandelier?
Oh my gosh, okay. So there's a chandelier. So just a little bit of a backstory. So the original building there at White Sulphur was called Old White, and what they would do, they would come there and they would soak in the sulfur springs, and it would rejuvenate their body. It was essentially for rheumatism. It would help joints and things like that. And so while these people were there, though, Gary was telling us that this group of people, they love to party and they love to dance.
Yep.
There were two huge things they loved to do. And so the first add-on building they built at the original spring was the ballroom.
Yep, sure was.
And so
that's basically how they stayed warm.
Yes. Yeah, they would drink and dance.
They would drink and dance.
So because there was no heat, there was no running water.
No running
in
water.
the original. Yeah.
But it was still upscale because you're not used to living in your wagon.
Yes. Yeah. Everyone was used to just living out of their wagon or living on the ground.
Yep.
Or sleeping on the ground back then. So anyway, but this chandelier is in the it's in a little like a bar area that's right off of that ballroom. And it was the chandelier that was featured in the Gone with the Wind movie. The beautiful chandelier in that movie, and it's in there. And when you see it and you recognize it, it is the most beautiful chandelier I've ever seen. It is just gorgeous, and
yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was super cool.
I'd like to have gotten the chance, but I was chasing birds.
You were chasing birds. I
woke up early enough. But in your defense, you left early last night or the night before.
Yeah, I just wasn't feeling well. My stomach was messed up, and then the next day, I think I started feeling better, which I think I got dehydrated. Is what happened because I hadn't drank any
Too
water.
Much walking and not enough water.
Yes, not enough water, and
something you ain't used to.
Yeah, and so what in the heck just happened?
Oh,
man, hook, line, and sinker on that one. Speaking of hook, line, and sinker, something else that all three of us got to do was go fly fishing for trout.
Yes,
in Howard's Creek, right there that runs through the Greenbrier.
2.5 miles of stocked water.
And let me tell you something, fellas.
Catch and release.
They do not have a weakness in any area with their guides.
No, they don't.
No, they do not. Them guides were spot on.
Yep.
I was so impressed. I mean, he was constantly giving me just information and teaching and training the whole time.
Well, not constantly.
Well, except for when he was pulling your
kept
fish.
Having to run up and pull my fish out.
Well, at first. How many did you catch, Dan? Because I caught 6. How many did you catch?
5,
4?
But
5.
In my defense, I was on a work conference call for 2 hours.
I was at work.
Work conference call.
Conference call. But
no.
I was.
You did do well.
I was holding the fly rod in one hand and the cell phone.
Yeah, that's true. He was. He was.
Let me put on one point here. He did have Bluetooth headphones in his truck.
I did.
Yeah. So
we
this
didn't
excuse
because we rode in with the guides.
I know, but now that I've told you, I
all I'm
always
gonna
carry
say
mine in my pocket.
Yeah,
all I'm going to say is scoreboard.
Scoreboard. Yes.
Scoreboard. And by the way,
Absolutely.
that was our group. Mike, how many fish did you catch,
guys
bud?
do, Mike?
Well,
I'm pretty sure his son skunked him.
His son skunked him.
My son
Absolutely.
skunked me.
Yes,
But,
he did.
hey,
Yes,
but did he really though? Because that in itself,
I mean, I wanted him to catch a fish.
is
I told
worth
the
everything.
guide, I said, listen,
it is.
don't spend very much time with me. I want my son to hook onto one. You know, we're using barbless hooks,
Right.
Because we want to save. They want to
save
save
the
these
mouths.
the mouths so the people can
Because it
still
is
catch
catch
them.
and release.
Yeah,
Yeah.
catch and release. So you got to put it back, but
Which I told my guy,
it's
take care of
still-
Dave.
Still amazing. You know, I mean, once he
Dan
caught
took
that
care of me.
fish,
Dan
he
took
was
care of me all
hooked.
weekend.
He didn't want to get out of the water.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
either. Unfortunately,
I didn't either.
I was supposed to drive to Ohio, but
Yeah.
by the time we did end up getting out of there, it was
A little
Yeah,
late.
as
it
soon
would
as
have
I
been a
got
long night.
as soon as I got home, and walked through the door,
Yeah.
I went to the garage and I pulled out my fly rod. It has never been used.
Got you back into it, didn't it?
Oh my
it did. It
gosh,
got me
man!
back into it. It's been a while since I've fly fished.
I can't
I
wait.
used to tie my own.
I
You
can't
know,
wait.
And they
I looked
like
up the
said,
kits.
that first day
Yeah,
they got us teaching us tie
Yep.
flies, and I started remembering. I'm like, oh man,
they actually have a sale right now on kits at Cabela's. It's a really good sale. They're going for like $60-some for a fly tying kit,
really. I want to
Yeah.
look into that here.
and it's a nice kit. It's just like the ones we used while we were up
Really?
there.
You talking about it bringing you back into fly fishing. You know, that's the whole point of this
Yeah.
expo.
It was.
I mean, it brings us right into back talking about that
Yep.
because the whole thing around the expo is promoting and, you know, continuing the hunting heritage with the youth and educating people about the outdoors and conservation in general. You know, we were talking there on the Zoom call. If there were more people that knew about conservation and knew the management practices that are behind it to keep our ecosystem and our habitats for our animals the way they are, there would be a lot more people that would hunt, and there wouldn't be so much negativity towards it. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's one of the things that this expo is trying to reverse
Especially with the conservation part.
with the conservation. Yes,
because you honestly you have to have wildlife management / conservation.
yes, you do.
Or all you're going to do is run over deer,
Yep.
run over bear. You've got to eliminate some of these creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, this is their land. Yes, it sucks, but what was we given dominion over?
that's right.
You know.
Yep.
So that falls back into the verses.
The fowl of the earth and the birds of the air.
Yeah. We was given dominion over animals, creatures of the earth. So,
Yeah, I mean, and he gave us those. He blessed us with those, created those, so that we could enjoy them.
sure.
You know, I mean, and manage those.
Some people enjoy them by taking pictures.
Some people.
That's
do.
right.
Yeah.
I enjoy them by throwing them in some butter and some oil and
Eat them.
season.
Some hunt chef seasonings.
That's
You got
right.
that
That's
right.
right. And I tell you what, after Noah and his family stepped off the boat, the Lord opened it up.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Go out there. You want to eat some food. You want to eat some meat. Go kill and eat.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he opened it up, man.
He said, "Take up your bow."
That's exactly what he said.
He did.
Yep.
So like you said, that kind of gets us back into the whole aspect of the Wild Wonderful
Yes.
Hunting, Fishing, and Conservation Expo.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
So they're
So
gonna
It's
that's
gonna
gonna
be
in
awesome.
September.
Oh my gosh.
And tentatively,
September 22nd through the 25th. Yes.
well, I think that's a set kind of date, but tentatively ticket prices
Yeah.
are $5 for children
And $10
and
for
$10
adults.
for adults. So I mean, really, guys, that's a great deal.
And that ticket price will also
it
include
doesn't-
other things.
Yep.
Like they're going to do
Seminars.
they're going to do seminars. They're going to do craft beer tastings. They're going
Which
to do
that might be. There's a few things that's going to be a little bit
Yeah.
of added expense.
Yes.
You know, bourbon tasting.
Yep.
Some of that's going to be added expenses, but it's worth it, guys. It's worth it.
So another cool thing that they're bringing is dock dogs.
Yeah.
So
That'll be
Greg
fun.
Hicks, I know he's listening right now. He's watching on Facebook, so he's going to like this. So dock dogs, it's a dog show and a jumping competition for
hunting dogs.
for the hunting dogs that will jump off of the docks. So I've never actually seen this. I don't know how it's done, but it sounds interesting. So I'm going to have to look into it.
Yeah. Oh no, I've watched it.
But-
you remember my dog Izzy before
Yes.
she passed? She would have made a killer dock dog.
Really?
That dog could jump.
Well, I remember
and
how she
loved
used to
the
jump
water.
in the pool.
Yeah. Well, we was up at Burnsville. Little quick story. We was up at Burnsville in the camper, and I was down in the lake. And Sierra opened the camper. She said, "Izzy really wants to come swimming. Do you care?" I said, "No, send her. Let her out."
Yeah.
There was a boat between me and the shore, and it wasn't parallel to the shore. It was vertical to the shore, lengthwise. So it was 20-foot boat
Uh-huh.
sitting in the water lengthwise. She comes running down this bank and jumps from 10 feet back from the lake,
Wow.
clears this boat. And there's people sitting out by their fires, and they just start screaming, "Oh my gosh, did you just see that dog jump over a boat?" And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, yeah, that's my Izzy girl. She loves her water. But her favorite things, I don't think you could get, like, I think they throw like a little rubber toy or something into the water so they can jump. She wouldn't have done that. You'd have had to throw her a beer can.
That's hilarious.
You
my
give her a
gosh.
beer can in the water, she was the happiest dog in the world. She wouldn't let it down the rest of the day. She'd keep it in her mouth all day long.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
But
Well, they're going to have Midway USA Foundation there.
Yeah.
And this is something
it's
really cool.
Yeah, it's a part of Midway USA. It's another portion of their business.
So what the I can't remember his first name, but Potterfield.
Yeah.
Can't remember his first name.
Yeah.
I think it's Gary. I'm not sure, but the owner of Midway USA, founder, president, Potterfield. All the money that's generated through that foundation goes to youth sporting shoots and different things like that.
Yep. And they're going to be doing shoots that day.
They're going to be doing a day of clays.
Yep, the day of clay.
That's going to be a youth competition. So, and he will match all the contributions that's going to come through that day.
And it's just not for this event. This guy, Midway USA Foundation, does these events.
Yeah, they do
constantly.
Constantly. Wow.
And
all over the country.
He matches whatever. If they raise $10 million, he matches it.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's awesome. And that's what it's about, guys.
That's amazing.
I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
This is how you get kids into it. This is how you continue conservation. And everything.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, it's we play a small role in continuing the heritage, but I'm so thankful for the small role that we play.
Oh, yeah.
In able to continue the hunting heritage with our youth and our kids.
Right.
So,
and hopefully one day we can be in that position where we can help out like that with the conservation.
And this
thing.
expo is geared towards the youth.
Yeah.
They're going to have a fishing invitational for the youth.
Yep.
Which also features the National Hatchery.
Yeah, they'll get to see the hatchery. Yep.
Oh, that's excellent. It's right down the road.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, yeah.
And they will stock the pond so that the National Hatchery will stock the pond.
Nice.
So that the kids will have plenty of fish to catch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another thing they're going to have is Ward Burton. We actually got to meet the great Ward Burton this week.
What an amazing man.
Oh, isn't he, though?
He is so awesome, man.
Great guy.
Humble,
down to earth. What a heart, man.
Oh, yeah.
That dude's got a heart on him.
And he is huge for the conservation. Huge for it. He that's his goal. I mean, obviously the Ward Burton Foundation, it's there. He does a lot for it.
Yeah.
And he just partnered with the Project Healing Waters Foundation.
Yeah, they just made that announcement there
at the media days. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's huge.
Yep, that's going to be another good thing. Women, wine, and waiters for seminars. They're going to do those to keep women in the outdoors. SIG Firearms is going to be there doing their Rose program.
And
they're going to do an academy seminar, and they're also going to do a big game seminar.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, guys, there's going to be a lot of seminars and a lot of secondary events going on throughout this, and that short little money that you paid to get in is going to cover all this.
And be sure you stay tuned to our podcast because we're going to be we're going to be posting more bonus episodes from our live event that we had there. We're going to have a full episode coming up with Caleb and Jason Hart, the community relations marketing director for Mossy Oak. We interviewed him while we was there. So that was an amazing time.
Great guy.
Another event that we're going to talk about real quick before we get off is the Wild Game Cook-Off.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, Dan.
Yeah, so that's going to be coming up tentatively June.
Yeah, June, somewhere between June 25th to the 29th.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's going to feature Brio Grills. They're going to be donating 20 grills.
Yep.
As well as Hunt Chef. He will be there.
Hunt Chef will be there. And he will be cooking on those grills for the contestants.
So definitely keep an eye on the Greenbrier's website.
Yep.
There's going to be a sign up for the first 20 people.
Yeah, the first 20 people.
It could be me. I might sign up.
There'll be a registration form on there.
Yeah, me too.
So you want to be sure you check that out.
Can I just say, real quick.
Yeah.
Because
Just say.
y'all mentioned cooking.
Just say.
The tenderloin.
The best. Listen, the best food that I've ever had.
Oh yeah.
The best steak.
Steaks.
Yes.
Yeah, you had 2 steaks,
I did have 2 steaks. The second one was filet, and I'm not a filet guy.
but it was good.
I'm a ribeye guy.
Yeah.
It was a great filet.
It was,
Um,
and that was at
the
Sam's.
ribeye at 44 West
Prime 44.
Prime 44 West.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best steak that I've ever had. Lobster mashed potatoes. Who the heck knew you could take lobster
Yeah.
and mashed potatoes, put them
Honestly,
together, and it would be life changing?
I'd have made a meal. I'd have made a meal out of that. I
telling
could have
you,
given my
Dan.
steak back and just said, "Give me a
Oh.
heaping portion of this, and I'm golden."
That was an explosion in your mouth.
I'm telling you, and I'll tell you something else too. While we were tying flies, the food that they had while we were tying
Oh
flies.
yeah.
They had lamb chops.
It was, and I believe
chef.
didn't he make that venison?
He
Yes,
made
he
venison.
did.
Oh my
tenderloin.
gosh, that venison was so amazing.
Like I make good venison tenderloin. Come on, but my lord,
I didn't even.
I ain't no
You
chef.
could just barely tell that was venison.
I couldn't tell. I could not. If he had not told me that, I would have thought it was beef.
yeah,
Yep.
it was good.
He
No
did
gaminess.
He did a phenomenal job.
Yeah,
What?
Man,
But man, guys,
that's why he's where he's at.
barbecue shrimp.
Wrapped
Who has
in
ever
bacon.
heard of barbecue shrimp wrapped in bacon? I'm telling you, man. I never heard of that, but it was amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm sorry. You guys go ahead.
I
No,
thought
John-
Food was-
the little BLT hors d'oeuvre thing.
Oh yeah,
That was crazy
so
good.
that was homemade bread right there at the Greenbrier.
okay.
I did not know that.
Bacon, lettuce, and tomato,
Mm-hmm.
and it had
I didn't know it was homemade
touch
bread.
of mayonnaise that was homemade from the Greenbrier right there.
Yeah,
Dude.
I don't know what those little sausage ball things were.
Turkey sausage.
Was it turkey sausage?
And let me tell you
I'll
something else.
what,
Okay,
those were
let me just tell you this too.
Bad.
Down in the shops in the Greenbrier, they make the best coffee drinks I've ever had, and that includes there is a massive coffee company out there that I will not name because I don't want to give them my time.
I don't.
But they outdid them twice over. It was amazing. They have a chocolate factory. Seemed like it was like
No,
they make
the
their own
chocolate.
chocolate there.
Yeah.
Best chocolate I've ever. I'm telling you guys, you've got to experience this. And the thing is, you don't have to stay there to go in and experience it.
No, you don't.
No,
you
no.
can go in and experience all those things.
Absolutely, you can just you could stay at the Holiday Inn in Lewisburg and come in there and just enjoy the
And
place.
just enjoy the place.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, and
But-
I love that about it.
There's
But I
so
mean-
much to do there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Carriage rides, croquet,
yeah.
golf.
There's a
tennis,
museum.
museums.
Presidential Museum.
Oh my gosh! And the portrait of George Washington
was
was
awesome.
so amazing. There was a bust of George Washington right off the elevator on the first floor,
Yeah.
or actually it was the subfloor, wasn't
Subfloor.
It was engrossed with history,
It was.
and I love history.
it? I do too.
I've talked to some people, and they're like, the Greenbrier's kind of, it's kind of outdated, but
It's supposed to be.
it's supposed to be. It's history.
Yeah.
It's history.
those things are,
But it's not outdated to a point.
They're-
They've done some upgrades to their rooms.
They
and
have.
what have you.
but
It was nice.
It's updated and dated for that time.
Yeah.
Everything there is brand new. Sure. I mean, you're not getting anything old.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, everything there is.
And when you
set-
drive up to, like when we drove up to it the first day,
It's
it was like driving up to the freaking White House, man. It's like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, look at how beautiful this is.
You know what I told that lady at the candy maker place? I'm like, is this not like the Disney World of West Virginia?
That's what it felt like. That's what it
Because
felt like.
we
But
were-
not as expensive
Yeah, not as expensive.
as Disney World.
And that's another thing I want to hit on, because a lot of people think that as soon as they hear Greenbrier, they're thinking massive expenses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything in those shops
Was reasonable.
was reasonable.
It was reasonable.
I got a half a pound of chocolate for the family,
Mm-hmm.
to bring back, sorry. And it was like $30.
And that's designer chocolate.
Yeah.
That's home, essentially homemade.
Yeah,
It's right
you,
there.
You
Right
want
there.
a piece of chocolate that's got Baby Dog's face on it? Yes. You get it right
You
there.
got
baby.
it right there. But the thing was, I was
That's
talking
Baby
to
Dog
the lady.
chocolate.
She let us try some samples that evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we were waiting on our shuttle. And I told her, I was like, we'll be back to get some chocolates before we leave. We appreciate you giving us that sample. So we went back and we got some chocolates.
Absolutely.
And I said, so how much is a pound? And she was, or I was asking, how much are these a piece? And she was like, they go by the pound, honey. And I'm like, okay, so what's a pound? She said a pound's $59. And I'm thinking, that's kind of pricey.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
But it's really not.
how many is in a pound? And she was like, probably around 60 pieces. And I'm like, that's not even expensive.
No.
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 And they're,
So-
you get like your peanut clusters.
Yeah.
You get, if you get an assortment like you did,
Yeah.
you get your peanut clusters. You get your.
I picked
You
about
you got that one that I fell in love with. It was a
s'mores.
s'more. Oh my Lord,
s'mores.
S'more was
fudge.
good.
S'mores it was
With the orange cream was good. It tastes like an orange creamsicle.
Trevor loved that.
Yeah, that was good.
But I told her, I said, I just kept picking them out. I was like, give me a couple of these, give me a couple of these. And, she weighed it for me, and I got a half a pound.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I actually got like 30 pieces of chocolate.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
It
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
So,
I just wanted to mention the food because if you're looking for the best, I've eaten at places around here. There are a couple of the higher end restaurants around here I haven't hit yet, but I'm telling you, the best food.
Well, see, I've been to Chop House.
Yeah.
That's
Chop House probably doesn't touch it.
that's our highest end. I would almost say that's probably the highest end restaurant we have.
and,
Yeah,
in
it is.
and
Charleston.
Chop House is really good.
Yeah, it is. Don't get me wrong.
But this right here is another level.
it is.
I
This
mean,
is like
it's another level in itself.
Yeah.
this
Well,
is
I'm
like
so thankful that I was able to
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they got
partake.
5-star chefs there.
Yeah, they do.
They've got
That's where Hunt Chef
high-end
came from.
chefs.
And
Yeah,
our Hunt
that's-
Chef was one of them.
Yeah.
That's right. He
that's
was,
right.
He was one of the big ones back in the day.
As a matter of fact, he helped establish Prime 44 West.
You're right.
He actually interviewed
Yep.
Jerry West and talked to him about
Yep.
how things they wanted in the restaurant.
Yeah, while we were sitting there eating dinner, he was telling us what he helped create. With
Yeah, that was kind of
And
cool.
what
That's
was
what I
another
thought was
awesome
amazing.
thing about that is one of the servers was still there when Chef originally was there.
Yeah,
She was a sweetheart. She was our
there's
server the
still
whole night. And she was
several
awesome.
people there that was there when Chef was there.
Yeah.
And that's how you know you've got a good business.
Right.
When you can keep employees like that,
Yeah.
when they love their job,
Well, that's one
you're
thing
doing something right.
That's one thing I was telling Joey, tonight on our Zoom call. I said, we talked to several employees. We talked to people at the casino. We talked to people in the restaurants, the waiters, the waitresses. We talked to the door attendants.
Yeah, the doorman. Yeah.
Concierge.
And the concierge services. And not a one of them had anything bad to say about it.
Nothing.
No, even I talked to one of the cleaning ladies. She was
Yeah.
sweet.
I talked to, I got up that one morning. Well, it was the morning we went to hunt. Or no, the morning y'all went to hunt.
Yeah.
And I had to get Cammy's bag out of the back of the truck. And I was down there at like 4:10, 4:15.
Yeah, you was down there when I was hunting.
And they're
was leaving to go.
they're sweeping at that time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, they've already
They
got
never
their-
stopped.
Yeah,
I mean, like we was talking about,
That's
they
crazy.
was out there, the lawn crew, they got stamping sand.
yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
I mean, if
the
I
lengths
dropped
they go
anything on the ground there, I would not be hesitant to eat it.
Yeah.
Not only because it's so good,
Yeah.
but it's because
Yeah.
it's so clean.
That's
Yeah,
huge for
yeah,
you
yeah.
to say that.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I'm a germaphobe.
You are.
And I'll tell you something else. The shuttle drivers were so nice.
They're-
Oh, yeah.
and they were educated.
Educate,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they give us information. We
Absolutely.
ask, hey, what's going on with it? What's this all about? And
Yeah.
right off the bat,
Yeah,
boom,
it
they knew, and they
almost
talk
seems
about
like they're
they
training
enjoy
their
it.
employees. Yes, they're training their employees to know, about the facilities.
Definitely. I mean, that's one of the things that they strive to do is to educate them when they come in about the history of the whole place.
Yep.
And just like you were saying, the guy that we had on the bunker tour, man, he was a coal miner all his life.
Yeah.
He's a West Virginia mountaineer, and he's
Absolutely.
like, boys, I love being inside working. This place is awesome.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
he was like, I love the history behind it.
Yes.
One of the things that he mentioned is, he said one of the things that he caught most of learning the history behind the Greenbrier is the continuity of government that we've continued over 60-some years
Yeah.
through the relationship of the Greenbrier, the C&O, which is now the CSX,
CSX.
Railroad,
Yep.
and the government.
Yeah.
To
Man.
keep freedom alive.
That's awesome.
That's one of the
we
things.
could talk. I mean, literally, I could sit here for the next 5 hours.
I know, and talk about our experience.
This
Yeah.
that
It
was a
it
trip.
was awesome.
I can't wait for the
If you ever get a
Wild
chance to
Wonderful
go,
West Virginia Hunting, Fishing, and Conservation Expo.
Yeah.
That's going to be another phenomenal time.
You know the great thing about it, let me tell you this. Now, this is for all the listeners out there, so you can attend this. This is not just in an arena. This is not just in an exhibition hall like the Civic Center.
Right.
This is actually in the Bunker Expedition Hall where Congress was going to congregate if there was an event.
Like a nuclear strike. Yeah.
Like a nuclear strike.
Yeah.
And it's going to be all around the
They've
the
turned
grounds, too.
They've turned that into the exhibition hall. So that's where the vendors are going to be. But like Dan said, it's going to be all over the grounds.
Yep.
All right, guys.
We appreciate it.
Let's roll it, Dave.
Let's roll it, baby.
All right, guys. So be sure to check us out on the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls on Facebook. Be sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. And keep a watch out for all these different things coming out here because we've got some great content coming up. We've got another full episode from our live coming out from the Greenbrier. We've got 2 bonus episodes, possibly 3 coming out.
Don't forget to mention we're going to do some bonus episodes.
And we're definitely going to have Joey Miller on from the Greenbrier to talk about this event before it happens. So the Wild and Wonderful Hunting, Fishing, and Conservation Expo, September the 22nd through the 25th at the Greenbrier Resort and Kate's Mountain Adventures. Keep that in mind. Mark your calendars, folks. Thanks for listening tonight. This episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Apparition Scents, an outdoor and sporting goods company based in Dilliner, Pennsylvania. All of their scents developed and hand bottled with strict attention being paid to every detail. Contact them today at 724-998-7646 or check them out at apparitionscents.com. 100% lethal or your money back guaranteed. Get a hold of them today at 724-998-7646 or check them out at apparitionscents.com.